Albany Law School graduating class of 2000.
Excuse me.
Ladies and gentlemen, faculty and administration, officers of the National Alumni Association, and members of the Board of Trustees of Albany Law School, followed by honorary degree recipient, New York State Senate Majority Leader, the Honorable Joseph L. Bruno, Commencement Speaker, President of Time Warner Incorporated, and valedictorian of the Albany Law School class of 1971, Mr. Richard D. Parsons. Followed by the Honorable Thomas M. Whalen III, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, and Thomas H. Sponsler, President and Dean of Albany Law School.
I-O-R-T-I-N-O. Hey, she said she was 18. I didn't do it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful day for those of us in the Capital Region and for you graduates. It's my pleasure to call these proceedings to order, and as chairman of the Board of Trustees of Albany Law School, to welcome you on behalf of the trustees, the faculty, and the administration to our 149th commencement. We will begin our program today with the national anthem. Our soloist is Karen Marino, a member of the graduating class of 2000.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bars through the all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rattling, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Karen. That was wonderful. Connie Mayer, Associate Dean for Student Affairs, will now give the invocation.
As we begin this celebration of academic achievement, may we be grateful for the love and support of our families and friends, for the hard work and commitment of the faculty and staff here at Albany Law School, for the dedication and the perseverance of these extraordinary graduates, and for the educational foundation that will give our graduates the opportunity to succeed in the many years to come.
Please be seated. Thank you, Dean Mayer. It is now my pleasure to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2000, Marjorie Eddy. Marjorie.
Chairman Whalen, Dean Sponsler, Mr. Parsons, Senator Bruno, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the law school faculty, members of the law school administration and staff, distinguished guests, fellow graduates, family and friends. It is an amazing honor and privilege to stand before you as we celebrate our accomplishments and toast this beautiful day. I have been troubled, though, over the past few weeks by hearing so many of you say that graduation didn't seem like such a big deal because of what looms ahead for so many of us this summer. But we have reached a milestone today, and I, for one, am thrilled and proud for all of us for what we have achieved. We should celebrate all of the hard work and dedication that brought us here and embrace all that awaits us. A quotation from Wolfgang Goethe symbolizes for me both the accomplishments of this day and inspiration for the future. wrote, "The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no one could have dreamed would come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it." It's a little windy, huh? "Consider the providence that flowed from your determination to receive your law degree. Goethe spoke of the unexpected benefits and results that occur once a definite commitment is made. Each one of us, I am sure, can call to mind of such outcomes from our law school experience that we could not have predicted. We have met lifelong friends and colleagues who have sustained us through the tough days and nights of law student life. We have trudged through research paths in the library, danced at formals, felt relief when we survived being called on for the very first time. We commiserated on the telephone when our spouses or roommates could not understand what we were going through. We studied together, drank beer together, were teammates together on the rugby field or in the courtroom. And hopefully we took pride in each other for the successes that we had in our chosen pursuits. We all knew we would meet new people when we came to law school, and many of us probably thought we would make friends. But who of us could have foreseen such incidents and meetings as these? We have also been supported and helped, or in Goethe's words, have received material assistance to reach this day. Countless people, many of them here today, supported our commitment to earn our degrees in ways we could not have imagined. Parents who let us live at home or who babysat for our own children so that we could attend class or participate in an extracurricular activity. Spouses and partners who quizzed us with torts flashcards or who served as witnesses for our trials. Teachers who challenged us to develop into legal thinkers, and many of whom gave of themselves and their own time so that we would learn. Administrators and staff who provided words of encouragement and connections to a life outside of law school. And mentors, people who offered their talents and wisdom so that we could grow. Talk about providence. What good fortune we have had to have been sustained by the material assistance these people have provided, all so that we would be enriched by the journey and reach this day. Even with all of these unexpected benefits, I think each of us had at least one moment, or day, or week, or even semester when we wondered why we were here. Was it worth the sacrifices? Could we make it? Did we want to? Somewhere in those moments of crisis, we resolved to stick it out. We committed to this goal anew. And by sitting here today, you represent a commitment come to fruition. It is important to celebrate the past 3 or 4 years and to recognize how life-altering our commitment to earn a law degree has been. I think Goethe would agree it was indeed a bold step. But commencement is, after all, a beginning, and a time to think about new or continuing commitments as well as the ones that brought us to this day. What does the future hold? For some of us, law school or being a lawyer will end up being merely incidental to other commitments we will make or already have made, to being a parent, to our communities, to a different career. Others will strive to be judges or CEOs or partners or simply to serve our clients well. For still others, law school was part of an ongoing commitment to public service, to self-improvement, to a particular cause. The professional lives as lawyers that we begin today will be replete with choices and commitments to be made. The struggle of law school may make us hesitant to undertake such difficult plans again. But before shying away from fully committing to new ambitious goals, consider how our minds and lives have been enriched through this process and the pride that we now feel. Goethe's words resonated with me because they suggest that what we commit to is not nearly as important as making the commitment. Whatever our goals upon graduation, we will undoubtedly face crises that will challenge our commitment, just as we did in reaching this goal. But if we remain steadfast, I believe, as Goethe did, that all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which we cannot now imagine, will move to help and guide us. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much, Marjorie. We are honored to have with us today as our commencement speaker a great friend of Albany Law School, Mr. Richard D. Parsons. Mr. Parsons will be introduced by Dean Tom Sponsler. Dean?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Richard Parsons received his undergraduate education at the University of Hawaii, and then graduated from Albany Law School as the valedictorian of his class of 1971. He has also received an honorary doctorate of laws from Albany Law School in 1995. From 1971 through 1974, Mr. Parsons served first as assistant counsel and later as first assistant counsel to former Governor Nelson A. Rockefeller, and then later as first assistant counsel to former Governor Malcolm Wilson. In 1975, he became deputy counsel to then Vice President Rockefeller. Later that year, he was appointed general counsel and associate director of the White House Domestic Council, a position he held until 1977. In 1977, he left federal service and joined the New York law firm of Patterson, Belknap, Webb, and Tyler. Mr. Parsons left the Patterson firm in 1988 to become chairman of the board and chief executive officer of the Dime Savings Bank of New York, one of the largest thrift institutions in the United States. In his current position as president of Time Warner Incorporated, the world's largest media and entertainment company, Dick is solely and totally responsible for modern American culture, as reflected in films and music. In addition to serving on the board of Time Warner, Mr. Parsons also serves as director of the federal 8th director of the National Mortgage Association, Fannie Mae, and a number of major American corporations. He is chairman of the New York City Economic Development Corporation, vice chairman of the New York City Partnership, a member of the boards of Lincoln Center and Metropolitan Museum of Art, Rockefeller Brothers Fund, and a trustee of Howard University. Mr. Parsons chaired the select committee to endow the Harold R. Tyler Chair in Law and Technology, Albany Law School's first endowed chair. And I'm happy to report that Judge Tyler is here with us today for today's ceremony. Richard Parsons has shared his expertise with countless law students as a lecturer for the school's Sabota Memorial Lecture Series, an alumnus in residence program, and other visits to the law school. To all of these activities, he has brought impressive gifts: commanding intelligence, both intellectual and emotional, a facility for dealing with difficult people and working out effective compromises, truly the peacemaker in every institution with which he is affiliated. He has a refreshing wit and a tangible aura of being obviously a good person. And of course, there are his two most valuable personal assets: his almost normal height and his Albany Law School education. Mr. Parsons is married to Dr. Laura Parsons and has 3 children. It's my great personal pleasure to present Richard D. Parsons.
Thank you, Dean Sponsor. I hadn't actually listened to that recitation of the resume before. It sounds like a guy who can't keep a job. In any event, Senator Bruno, members of the Board of Trustees, distinguished faculty, members of the class of 2000, and friends, good morning. Before all else, let me single out those who most deserve special mention on this glorious graduation day. The people whose passion and patience, perseverance made today's celebration possible. I'm speaking, graduates, about your parents and your spouses and your significant others. All of those sitting behind you who've been behind you all the way. You've taken the test, to be sure, and you've done the papers, and you've met the deadlines, and are now being awarded the diplomas. But to one extent or another, each of you here is here because of them, because of how they nurtured and encouraged you, supported you, and when necessary, put up with you. So, to them and to you, I offer my sincere congratulations on this graduation day. Now to the business at hand. I think it was Adlai Stevenson who once defined the role of a commencement speaker as follows. He said, "My job today is to talk. Your job is to listen. Let's only hope that you're not finished before I am." For me, this is it's a particularly special occasion for a couple of commencement addresses. I'm always puzzled when someone asks, because my own pedigree as a scholar is, shall we say, undistinguished. As a young man, I was what my wife once defined or called a disaster. I went to one of those tough New York City, sort of inner city high schools where I majored in basketball and hung out with all the kids who had names like Spike and Toothless and Knuckles, and those were the cheerleaders. So it was a rough place. And I managed to graduate. After I graduated, I think I owed more to the encouragement of my father than on my own ambition. My father encouraged me to believe that my earthly existence was in danger. In fact, I didn't graduate. So with that injunction, I was encouraged to just barely get out. I then went, as you heard, and attended the University of Hawaii, where I dedicated myself to exercising my inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of co-eds. That pursuit took me to many beach parties and many frat parties, but rarely to the library. And again, this time it was a teacher of mine who got on my case and told me that, he said, "Richard, you are to academic underachievement what Muhammad Ali is to boxing." But once again, I sort of squeaked through. And then I came here to Albany Law School. Now, after 4 years in Hawaii, I wasn't sure I'd survive the winters in Albany. Moreover, given my tenuous academic record and achievement, some of my college professors thought I had about as much chance of lasting in law school as the proverbial snowball in Honolulu. But fortunately, it turned out better than any of us had a right to expect. First, I got used to the winters. Better yet, I found at the Albany Law School what I've been searching for all my life. I found myself. The study of law awoke in me a long, dormant passion for learning. It gave me the discipline that I was looking for. A discipline I embraced myself, instead of one my parents or my teachers had to struggle to impose on me. The logic of the law enthralled me. Its unyielding insistence on clear thinking, on building a case piece by piece until the force of the argument had an irresistible momentum, captured my imagination. I literally couldn't get enough of the law, and this school both fed and satisfied my appetite. For me, and I hope for some of you, Law school was a mind-changing and life-altering experience. The day I sat where you sit now was one of the most satisfying days of my life. A time of fulfillment and expectation, and frankly of tremendous pride in having completed Albany's rigorous requirements. It was also a day when, as well as knowing I had now the means to practice my chosen profession, I confronted another reality of what it means to be a lawyer in this country. I speak now, of course, of lawyer jokes. Every member of my family had at least one. Some of them had several. In fact, it seemed to me that a few of them had actually started researching and compiling lawyer jokes from the day I entered law school so they'd be ready for the day I graduated. Now, I suppose, hearing lawyer jokes all my life, I probably never paid much attention to them. And in fact, I probably told my share, but it was the epiphany of my graduation, my receipt of the law degree that made me aware of the non-stop ridicule and derision aimed at the profession that I'd chosen. Now, I won't tell any lawyer jokes today. You probably heard them all anyway. They're as old as the profession, probably. But it did strike me as a matter of some curiosity that what I had struggled so long and so hard to achieve, so many other people found humor in. And then not long after I graduated, there was a shift in the barbs directed at lawyers, from a kind of traditional and generic suspicion to a more pointed and serious kind of accusatory tone. By the beginning of the 80s, America's competitiveness and economic progress were being substantially harmed, it was said, by the country's unnatural abundance of lawyers. Other nations were prospering because, unlike the United States, they had small and insignificant legal establishments. One New York Times columnist even wrote, jokingly I think, but I'm not sure, that if America was really serious about staying competitive, it would double the enrollment in its engineering and business schools and close down all the law schools. Now, it was and is a fact that the United States has proportionally more lawyers and more people involved in the legal profession than any other democratic nation. And there's a clear historical reason why this is so. In this country, unlike in societies whose basic rules and legal codes evolved slowly over centuries, the law both preceded the nation and brought it into existence. The unwritten framework of our national constitution created the political structure that allowed 13 former colonies with different political histories, economic interests, and in some cases, different religious traditions to form their union. As we've evolved into a truly multicultural polity, made up of a widely diverse collection of races, religions, and ethnicities, the law has been the touchstone of our common interests, the ultimate instrument for negotiating the rules that ensure equal rights and equal protections for all of us. Be that as it may, the notion of America being burdened by hordes of self-dealing lawyers pursuing unnecessary litigation and gumming up the wheels of progress didn't take long to get embedded in the national consciousness, in the media's database, and in the opening monologues of many a late-night talk show host. The jokes about lawyers got even nastier than ever. Yet, a funny thing happened on the way to the Loyalist Forum. All those efficient, high-flying, lawyer-free societies began to sputter and lose their momentum. Lacking a clear statutory framework that provided the same rules for everyone, and the lawyers necessary to carry on an open process of legal scrutiny and discourse, cronyism and corruption went unchallenged in those states until it was too late. My, how the world turns. Lo and behold, for example, after years of hearing how Japan's economic prowess was a reflection of its consensus-style culture in which lawyers and litigation were needed, we now find Japan itself taking a different tack. January of this year, a government-appointed commission recommended that if Japan is to become a less insular, more adaptable and flexible society, it needs two things: a new openness to immigrants, and, you guessed it, more lawyers. Recently, the Asian expert Ian Baruma wrote in the New York Times, and I'm quoting now, "It's hard to imagine how a nation's economy can keep on growing without freedom of information, without citizens having an uncompromised right to legal representation, and without laws based on popular consent. Laws that are constantly abused by a self-perpetuating elite make business impossible." Close quote. From Malaysia to Indonesia, to the Republic of China, to the successor republics of the old Soviet Union, we are once again being reminded that free markets are inextricably linked to free societies. And like free societies, free markets are impossible to sustain without a collective willingness to erect and maintain the independent institutions and legal codes that ensure that the pursuit of happiness isn't rigged in favor of a fortunate few or allowed to descend, in Thomas Hobbes' famous phrase, to a war of all against all. Today, it seems obvious that for any nation to achieve long-term, sustainable economic progress, there must be a clear focus on building and maintaining the legal and constitutional underpinnings, without which those markets cannot thrive or survive. In a nutshell, the world needs more lawyers, not fewer. Now, it is not my purpose here to encourage you to go job hunting in Kuala Lumpur or in Singapore or Shanghai, although, frankly, I'm told the winters there are better than the Albany winters. Rather, my purpose is to remind you that while the legal framework we enjoy in the United States is a precious part of our political and economic freedoms, the ultimate guarantee of its worth is not in the quantity of the nation's lawyers, but in their quality. In who you are, and in the ideals you live by. In your resolve to be women and men of professional integrity. In your commitment to play by the rules and be guided by conscience and not convenience. In your capacity to stand up for justice, even when that means going against popular opinion or political pressure. And in your willingness to represent not merely the wealthy and the privileged, but the voiceless and the powerless. The people at the margins, those who it's always easy to ignore or exclude or condemn. In becoming lawyers, ladies and gentlemen, of the class of 2000, you've done more than make yourselves the butt of good-natured and sometimes not so good-natured ridicule. Above all, you've become officers of the court and guardians of our legal system. And that legal system is the very foundation of our way of life. Whether that system works or not depends in good measure, as a lawyer by the name of Lincoln once put it, on the cause of true justice and on the character of those who serve it. Good luck in that endeavor. Congratulations, and God bless each of you.
Thank you very much, Richard. It's customary for institutions of higher education to give honorary degrees to their commencement speakers, but Richard has already received every degree we have to offer, every honor we have to offer, but I still thought it was appropriate to have some memento to thank him for his coming here today and for what I knew would be a very excellent speech. Richard and I spoke a few months ago about the number of mergers that were going on with Time Warner and various other companies, and speculating as to what the next merger might be. He speculated that Time Warner might merge with the People's People's Republic of China. Since that time, there's been a slight disagreement between Time Warner and another entertainment company named Disney. And I think it's more likely that those companies will merge at some time in the future. So as kind of a prediction of what might come and as a token of our appreciation to Richard for his appearance today, I'd like to present to him with this this is a stuffed animal of Bugs Bunny, a Time Warner cartoon character, with an Albany Law School T-shirt and a mortarboard with some strange-looking attachments to it. Richard, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dick. I now have the honor of conferring the degree of Honorary Doctor of Laws to our special guest, Senator Joseph L. Bruno. Senator Bruno, would you approach the stand and be recognized? Joe, you began your career delivering ice in your hometown of Glens Falls while a student at Skidmore College. Now, as Majority Leader of the New York State Senate, you are considered to be one of the most powerful and influential leaders in the state of New York. Your remarkable career is a tribute to the work ethic instilled in you by your parents, Italian immigrants, and your own tenacity and entrepreneurship. A veteran of the Korean War, you returned from service to begin your own telecommunications company in the 1960s. Under your leadership, that company grew to 700 employees. In 1974, you became chair of the Rensselaer County Republican Committee, made your first successful run for the New York State Senate in 1976, and you were elected Majority Leader in January 1995, thereby joining the most powerful triumvirate of leaders since Augustus, Mark Antony, and Oedipus directed the affairs of the Roman Empire. You have consistently been a leader in improving New York's economic standing, not only in New York but in the nation, and are a stalwart proponent of business in the state. Your involvement in local affairs and economic development projects, and I know this personally, has brought thousands of new private and public sector jobs to the capital region. The Science and Technology Law Center of Albany Law School is a direct result of the kind of support you provide to promote educational initiatives in the region. You have long been a source of humorous observations about the legal profession and its role in government. Today, we welcome you to that profession, and we expect you to treat us accordingly. Your service to the Capital District, its colleges and businesses, is without parallel, and we are pleased to honor you today. By virtue of the authority vested in the Regents of the University of the State of New York and the trustees of Albany Law School, and by them and me, I confer upon the Honorable Joseph L. Bruno the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges appurtenant thereto.
Tom, thank you. very, very much for that great recognition and introduction. And let me just share with you that this really is a high honor for me. And when the outstanding former valedictorian, D Parsons, talks about the United States having more lawyers than anywhere in the world, he didn't mention that most of them are in New York State. And you know, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And I noticed that your valedictorian, Marjorie Eddy, mentioned the word commitment, your commitment, a number of times in her address. A lot of times, more times than I can count. And how right she is. You've had a commitment. You know what? In the 2 minutes or 3 minutes that I have here, and that's the most difficult challenge, to ask a person in public life to speak for 2 minutes. You are committed, but I would ask you, when you leave here as graduates of Albany Law, to recognize that you have one of the greatest educations in the world, and you have one of the greatest opportunities in the world. And your professors, Dean Sponsler, Chairman of the Board Whalen, examples of D Parsons, the trustees, your faculty, all of those people can try and impact you, the people behind you that support you. They can all try and impact you. But when you leave here as graduates of Albany Law, you and only you can make a decision to make a difference. So if I ask you to do one thing, whatever you do with your lives, whatever you do, with a great background that you have, with a great life that you have before you, whatever you do, do it in a way that you make a difference, that you affect people in positive ways. Because people in this society, it's a complicated, complex world that we live in. We need lawyers. You can't make a move without a lawyer. I couldn't function without a lawyer. I am proud. I do kid about lawyers, but people kid about politicians, okay? And there are a lot of jokes about politicians, and thank you, Dick, for not telling any. But I'm proud that my son Ken is a lawyer. He is the district attorney in Rensselaer County. I'm proud when I hear of Dick Parsons with a law background as president of Time Warner. So I'm very, very proud that we have a legal profession that helps we in New York State continue to be the Empire State, and we in the United States to be the greatest nation in the whole world. Congratulations, and God bless each and every one. Upon Dean Sponsler to present the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree. Dean?
As Dean of Albany Law School, it is my distinct honor to present the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree. At this time, will the members of the class of 2000 please stand? Chairman Whalen, I present to you the Albany Law School class of 2000.
Thank you very much, Dean. Under the authority vested by the Regents of the University of the State of New York in the trustees of Albany Law School, and by them vested in me, I declare that the Juris Doctor degrees about to be awarded are rightly and duly conferred, and they convey to the worthy men and women on whom they are conferred all the rights, privileges, and obligations immemorially due the academic community. Dean Moore will now announce each graduate's name and the honors prizes and awards that they have earned. It is requested that the audience refrain from applauding, not likely, until after all the graduates have received their diplomas and hoods.
W. Edgington, cum laude.
Yeah, it's just video people.
Excuse me.
Robert E. Abdella. Lieutenant Martin E. Adams. Diploma is being presented by James Walsh, a member of the class of 1998 and a member of our board. Kristen M. Aducci. Stacy A. Agdern, concentration in international law. Edward J. Allock. Kim Kristen Anderson. Tara Jean Angelo, National Order of Barristers Award.
Excuse me? No.
Emra Artukman. Amanda A. Avery, magna cum laude. Her diploma is being presented by her father, Dr. Joseph Board, a member of our adjunct faculty. Victoria H. Babcock, in absentia. Alice J. Baker.
Excuse me.
Michelle A. Batiste, concentration in labor and employment law. Scott C. Barnett, in absentia. Kelly Bachakis, cum laude. Katrine Aliha Beck, concentration in labor and employment law. Andrew N. Bernardini. Craig H. Bernhardt, concentration in civil litigation. Malika Bibbs. Sarah M. Viscone, concentration in estate planning. Her diploma is being presented by 3rd Department Presiding Justice Anthony Cardona, a member of our Board of Trustees. Andrew V. Bodewes, magna cum laude. Frank M. Patterson Prize, John C. Welsh Prize. Scott R. Basil. Mary Catherine L. Bowling, magna cum laude. Dana M. Beneski. Brandon E. Boutel. Jessica Brennis. Mary Tracy Brooks, Edgar A. Sandman Fellow, Kate Stoneman Student Service Award. Tara L. Brower. James E. Buckley III. Todd C. Burnham. David A. Burns. Caroline Campomanes, the Dominic L. Gabrielli Prize for Best Advocate, 3rd place, and the National Order of Barristers Award. Rosemary Chow, Dominic L. Gabrielli Prize, Best Brief, Best Advocate, 1st place, National Order of Barristers Award, David Wanger Memorial Award. So Chun in absentia, Justina R. Centrone, Government Law Center Prize. Kristen M. Clark, Concentration in Environmental Law with honors.
I know how to get the girl, huh?
Tatiana Nivadomi Coffinger.
I had to get his girlfriend.
Donna M. Paul.
Excuse me, sir?
Edward M. Connell. James Christopher Cosgrove. Thomas H. Cragen, Matt Law, 3rd prize.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry.
Elizabeth A. Davies. William M. DeCare. Shannon L. DeMoranville. Eileen Grace Deming. Rebecca L. Danu. Jennifer A. DeWolf. Stephanie R. DeLaulo, cum laude. Denise M. DePace. Aaron Dollaty. Margaret E. Donnelly. Matthew R. Dunn, magna cum laude, concentration in criminal law with honors. Scott W. Duvall in absentia. Marjorie C. Eddy, summa cum laude, trustees, 1st prize. Dominic L. Gabrielli Prize, Patrick B. McNamara Prize, Maurice Shapiro Prize. Mary Ann Evans. Garcia Evans. Susan M. Faust, cum laude.
Excuse me, please.
Kirsten E. Fish, American Bar Association State and Local Government Law Prize. Nancy R. Fornari, Magna Cum Laude, Scribes Award, Concentration in Estate Planning with Honors. Helena M. Gajewski in absentia. Virginia A. Getman, Summa Cum Laude, Trustees Second Prize. Cameron Danaher Prize, Matt Law Prize, Jacob L. Rubenstein Prize, West Publishing Company Awards. Julie L. Duruzzi.
We're doing it for the law school.
Eric W. Goodale. Tomoko Goto. Kristen A. Gossus, National Order of Barristers Award.
Third one in.
Yeah.
Frank H. Hamlin III. Barbara S. Hancock, Magna Cum Laude, Matthew Bender Prize, Matt Law Prize, Edgar A. Sandman Fellow. Stafford A. Harmit. Kevin C. Hart.
Yes, he is. That's my boy, though.
Lance R. Hartwich. Catherine M. Hedgeman, Dominic L. Gabrielli Prize.
Oh, she's a great relation. Yeah, he's my buddy. I know her. Yeah, she passed him out too.
Robert William Hemsworth. His diploma will be presented by James Walsh, a member of our Board of Trustees.
I'll watch this one.
Douglas R. Henry. Stephanie Ann Henry. Dara Robin Hirschfeld.
Hey, Lance, look this way.
Justin Herzog, National Order of Barristers Award.
You gotta go there and kiss folks.
Michael J. Hillary, Capital District Trial Lawyers Association First Prize, Senior Trials First Prize. Jeffrey E. Hines. Maria Ayano, Concentration in Health Law. Thomas Dean Jackson, Jr., Capital District Trial Lawyers Association First Prize, Senior Trials First Prize. Una A. Jackson in absentia. Andrew Scott Jacobs, cum laude in absentia. Matthew Farley Jones, cum laude. His diploma will be presented by his uncle, Vice Chair of our Board of Trustees, E. Stewart Jones, Jr. Scott Jones in absentia. E. Danielle Jose, concentration in criminal law. Shannon Catherine Shea Carney, concentration in health law. Deborah S. Kearns, summa cum laude, Edward M. Cameron Jr. Prize. Mark Lyons Kemmler, magna cum laude. Douglas R. Kemp, magna cum laude, White Rosbrook Prize. Christian James Kennedy, cum laude. Jacqueline J. Kim.
What's your last name?
Daphne S. Kuritsis, cum laude. Jonathan Darrell Klein, cum laude. Lillian Kleingardner, in absentia, magna cum laude. Paul A. Constanti. Sonia L. Krupenbacher. Annie M. Quo. George Edward LaMarche III. Seth R. Lamont. Yuk F. Lau. Tracy A. LaValle. Gregory Lehman, concentration in labor and employment law with honors.
Excuse me, you guys, will you stand me right here?
Tobias J. Len, White Rosbrook Prize.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For the law school,
Got the camera behind you.
Jared T. Levine.
You get a little pushy.
David J. Levy. Joanne Y. Lee, National Order of Barristers Award.
We're so worried about where they're standing.
Jacqueline B. Lipster. Weiran Liu.
You guys are killing the line.
Charlessa E. London. Myra Evelise Lopez. Kendall Ludden. Susan Lee, Robert A. Barker Award, concentration in business law. Brian Scott Lyda, Herbert E. Cohen Prize, concentration in business law with honors, concentration in estate planning with honors. Elizabeth A. Mallory. Yuri Maltzer. Doreen S. Martin, Dominic L. Gabrielli Prize. James T. Maxwell II, Justin Walsh Memorial Award. His diploma will be presented by James Walsh from our Board of Trustees. Veronica Kalis McConnell. Karen E. McGrory, concentration in international law. Amy Rebecca McNary. Ann Jo Pennock McTagg, Donna Jo Morse Prize.
Do it again.
David M. McVeigh, cum laude.
We don't know where we're going yet.
Carla Jean Miley. Brian D. Mercy, diploma being presented by James Walsh. Amy A. Metcalf. Jacques Elwin Michel. Yoshoki Miyamoto in absentia. Robert Modica. Heather A. Mogan, Capital District Trial Lawyers Association, second prize. Senior Trials, second prize. Karen A. Marino, Capital District Trial Lawyers Association, second prize. Senior Trials, second prize. Gabrielle A. Mueller, Kate Stoneman Student Service Award. Jennifer A. Murphy, cum laude. Mary J. Murphy. Ramo Muscaderi. Stephen G. Natoli.
Excuse me, you guys are blocking the camera?
Carol H. Newhouse in absentia.
Yo, that's okay.
Aaron W. O'Brien. Susan Oakes. Christopher J. Obstarzik, cum laude.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Tahena Pacheco. Renora Puelco, magna cum laude, Friedman Prize.
She's like at the end.
Jeffrey Hayes Perlman, concentration in international law. James R. Peluso, Jr., Student Service Award.
Oh, you got Kyle.
Wendy C. Plummer, Dominic L. Gabrielli Prize. Jason D. Paselovich. James P. Pronti.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Brian L. Quayle, magna cum laude, Capital Region Bankruptcy Bar Association Prize, National Order of Barristers Award.
No, I asked because we have some friends come to our place sometime.
Lara M. Quintiliani.
Last name is Powell. I don't know the first name. I don't think she's there anymore.
Nathan Norbert Race, magna cum laude.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna do it with you.
Daniel Jeremy Race.
We have a campground and her parents used to come over all the time. I still do.
You should turn around, babe.
Emily C. Reed, Kate Stoneman Student Service Award. Michael J. Relier. Linda M. Rojas, concentration in estate planning. Benjamin H. Rondeau, cum laude, Joseph Roche Prize. Amy B. Royal.
Oh, he's next. She's
Right.
Rovan Rajendra Rosario.
I'm not too worried. It's just the other grandma couldn't make it, so I promised to take pictures. One grandma came from Florida. And the other
Peter K. Rydell.
Hey, Peter. All right.
Matthew Sante. Alexis Christine Santoro, National Order of Barristers Award. Jody L. Sayers, Matthew Bender Prize, Donna Jo Morse Prize. Jessica Mila Schutzman. Michael A. Shortino, National Order of Barristers Award.
Thank you very much. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hassan A. Shakir.
Hey, Dave. What's up? Congratulations.
Yeah, excuse me. We're trying to film.
Oh, jeez.
J. Simpson, magna cum laude.
I'm in the tape deck. Gotta go sit down. Okay.
Hobart J. Simpson.
Hey, Jason.
Tara E. Sullivan Smith.
What?
Nicole Marie Snyder.
Oh, yeah. And,
Gary R. Somerville, National Order of Barristers Award. Kimberly A. Steele, Concentration in International Law. Rachel M. Steele, Disabilities Law Clinic Prize, Concentration in Labor and Employment Law. Richard Victor Stewart, Jr. Shannon L. Stockwell.
Here comes Debbie. There's your buddy, Debbie.
Deborah C. Sturm.
Oh, look at her, yeah.
Heather Ann Sullivan, cum laude. Robert William Teckler. Christine A. Theodore. Eric L. Thompson. Natalie J. H. Todd.
I know it. I saw it. Congratulations.
Hey, Nate. How's it going, man?
Matthew E. Trainer, magna cum laude, West Publishing Company Award.
Hey, excuse me, guys. We're filming right here.
I heard you asking about me. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, but make a friend over here. Okay.
Lori A. Vela.
Oh, thank you very much.
I already got yelled at 3 times.
John Ronald Vero, cum laude, Dominic L. Gabrielli Prize, selected yesterday as our recent graduate trustee. Maura Patricia Walsh, Dominic L. Gabrielli Prize. Lillian Wan, magna cum laude, Martin H. Belsky Prize.
Excuse me, guys. We're filming right here.
Christopher J. Watt, magna cum laude, Selma Mintz Memorial Prize. Timothy P. Welch, National Order of Barristers Award. Kathleen Virginia Wells.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks.
Sarah A. Wells, Concentration in Environmental Law. Michael West, in absentia, Cardozo Prize.
I didn't know it was you.
Galen Wilcox, in absentia. Ann Whipple Morris Willie, magna cum laude, J.H. Milstein Award. Stephen D. Wilson. Karen Sue Yeager. Sean W. Yurden. Robert J. Zacchio, Jr. Heather Dawn Zalatin, cum laude. Elena R. Zaretsky. David Zegarelli, cum laude, Frank M. Patterson Prize.
Congratulations, class of 2000. And it's now my pleasure to introduce the president of the class of 2000, Kevin Hart. Kevin?
On behalf of the class of 2000, I would like to thank everyone for joining us today on this beautiful and momentous occasion. I would like to particularly thank Mr. Parsons for coming and speaking on behalf of the class at our commencement. Now, I understand this is at the point where everyone gets a little anxious, so I will try and do this as quick as possible. But we need to recognize some professors from our university. And each year, the graduating class at Albany Law School votes for 3 members of the law school community to honor as friends of the class. These honorees have touched the members of the class 2000 in a way that would be unthinkable of us as graduating without recognizing them for their contributions. The first friend of the class of 2000 is Professor Ken Milley, otherwise known as Milley. Professor Milley has always made himself available to all students at Albany Law School. He has an open door policy in which students can come and stop by his office anytime. They can call him at home if they ever have a question, because he sometimes might make the mistake of giving everyone his home phone number. And therefore, Professor Milley, the class of 2000 at Albany Law School, honors you as a friend of the class. Thank you very much for sharing your graduation day with me. I have one wish for you. Look, as professionals, we're obligated to do the best we can for our clients, even if we don't particularly like them. But as human beings, I can tell you, and you probably know, that it's a lot easier to do, and you get a lot more personal and professional satisfaction if you like the people you're expected to serve. The best wish I have for you for life after the bar exam, and there is such a thing, by the way, the best wish I have for you is that your clients are people you like, and they give you the same satisfaction that the students here have given me. Thank you very much. Our next friend of the class is Professor Pat Rayhan. Now, when I asked students what they most liked about Professor Rayhan, among all the great comments that the students had about her, Students all spoke of the ability that Professor Rayhan has to take this course material and she can convey it to the students in a manner in the most intelligible way. She's very approachable and always willing to entertain a question that a student has. Therefore, it is my pleasure to name Professor Pat Rayhan as a friend of the class of 2000.
I was told my remarks were to be short and significant. I'm not good at either, so let me quote someone or cite someone who was Babe Ruth in acknowledging that without all of you, none of this would be necessary, and that without all of you, none of us would be necessary. And in that light and every light, thank you so much for this honor, and best wishes to all of you. Thank you.
The last friend of the class award is to Henry Clay. Henry always seems to be happy, which isn't the norm at law school. It doesn't matter if it's 7:30 in the morning or 2:30 in the afternoon, but Henry's always smiling and he's always in a good mood, which in turn brings a smile to the students at Albany Law School. On behalf of the class of 2000, we honor you, Henry Clay, as a friend of the class.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank the class of 2000 for bestowing this great honor upon me. I am truly appreciative. It feels great to be here to share in it, and what I'm sure will be one of your many shining moments. This class and I started here at ALS at the same time. It's been 3 long years, or 3 short years, depending on your perspective. But undoubtedly, it's been 3 good years. During this time, I made more friends than I can imagine, and I cherish each one. You know, there are a lot of good things in life, but sometimes the simple things that mean the most, like knowing you're appreciated. For that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I wish you all continued success in your personal and private lives. I will miss you all. Thank you again very much. Congratulations!
As I said, he's always happy. The class of 2000 would also like to recognize Professor Robert Barker, who is retiring this year. Professor Barker has been a professor of law at Albany Law School since 1967. He also served as Associate Dean from 1979 to 1991. As I mentioned earlier, he is retiring, but he will be teaching classes next spring. Now that is dedication. It is this type of commitment and dedication that Professor Barker has brought to Albany Law School for the past 34 years. And for the class of 2000, we'd like to present Professor Barker with an award for his continued support and guidance through our years. On behalf of Albany Law School and the class of 2000, thank you, Professor Barker.
Totally unanticipated until I opened up the program an hour ago. So for once, I think you'll be very happy to know I'm totally speechless. I want to wish you the best and congratulations on a wonderful day. Thank you very much. At the request of the class of 2000, Ms. Barbara Chandler, a member of the staff of Albany Law School, will perform The Wind Beneath My Wings. Barbara?
perfect.
In my shadow, to never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine that your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, and you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide your pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? You're everything I wished I could be. Oh, I can fly higher than an eagle, with you as the wind beneath my wings. It might have appeared to go unnoticed, but I have it all here in my heart. I want you to know I know the truth. Sure, I know that I would be nothing without you. beneath my wings.
Thank you, Barbara. I would now like to call on Dean Tom Sponsler to make some closing remarks. Dean?
How can you ask me to follow that? It's going to be a downer, no matter what I say. First, I'd like to presume to speak on behalf of the class of 2000 to thank the many people who worked so hard to make today a big success, but especially the two people who I can tell you from firsthand observation have been working for months on this and have spent thousands of hours, Gail Brown and your class president, Kevin Hart. Allow me to add my voice to the many others to congratulate the class of 2000 on your wonderful accomplishments and wish you a great day and a great future. I also, however, have to offer you my condolences. You are, after all, leaving Albany Law School. No more 5 to 6 week winter breaks. No more TGIFs, TGITs, TGIWs. The good news is, however, you're welcome back anytime for anything that we can do to help you in your career or in any way we can. And I encourage you to come back also to do for your successors what your predecessors did for you, which was in many cases come to judge moot court competitions, to advise you as to your career options, and to offer assistance to you. The profession is one that passes on from generation to generation its wisdom, and I hope you will join in that process. As evidence of that, as you are moving out into a new phase of your life, there's others who are leaving as well. As we know, Professor Barku is leaving, Professor McKinney, Professor Milley will be gone, and 7 of our trustees who have served for many years to advance the interests of law students are leaving. Howard St. John, Donald DeAngelis, Charlotte Buchanan, Robert Giannini, Jonathan Harvey, Diane Phillips, and Darius Shanafar. Together, they have had more than 73 years of service on the Board of Trustees, and in many cases worked in other capacities to advance the interests of Albany Law School. I want to thank them, encourage you to follow in their steps, and continue the familial atmosphere that I think supports what legal education is about at Albany Law School. But today is your day to celebrate, so I will give you the advice I give to every graduating class. Party on, dudes.
Thank you, Tom. It's been a privilege for all of us here on the stage, honored guest Dick Parsons and faculty and trustees, to share in today's wonderful ceremonies with you, the class of 2000, your friends and your families. We look forward to seeing all of you at the reception in honor of our graduates, which will immediately follow the recessional. Please stay in your seats until the recessional is completed. I hereby close this, the 149th commencement of Albany Law School, and I would like again to call on Dean Mayer to deliver the benediction. Dean.
We now depart and applaud these exceptional graduates as they close one chapter on their lives. May they remember that as true professionals, they must accept the public and the community responsibility that is part of their role as an attorney. May they remember to give back to their communities, to live with honor and distinction, and to serve as fitting examples for future generations. And make us proud.
Hey!
Grandma.
away.